You are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin.
What is going down? What is going down? It is your boy Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. Welcome to the show, guys. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the show. If you are a fan of anime, nerd culture, and most importantly, video games, you come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here. This is episode number 346. Happy New Year to everybody. It is now officially 2024. So many things to look forward to, so many dreams still yet to accomplish, and a lot of video games to play. And we're going to talk about all of that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the games that I fucking loved over 2023. And I'm also going to talk about the games I missed and still want to play in 2023. And I also am going to talk about the games in 2024. There are a lot of games, guys. I'm not going to be able to list them all, but there's a shit ton of games that are coming out and I'm so excited for. Just going to get into all of that, guys. So let's get into it. I hope everybody, like I said before, had a great New Year's Eve or New Year's. I had a boring one. Just pretty much sat in the house. I did watch Dave Chappelle's new stand-up on Netflix, and Dave Chappelle is always a classic. So got to definitely give him a shout out. Other than that, just working on videos and yeah, man, just pretty much chilling. You know what I mean? Now, I did get a chance to play Persona 5 a little bit on the PS5. Okay. Not Royale. I think, yeah, it was Persona 5, the basic, the vanilla version. And I fell in love with the game very early. I think I mentioned this last week, guys, but I ended up finding Persona 5 Royale on the Switch, did some research on it, and bought the game. So the game should be here this week. So I'll definitely be playing a lot of that over the next, I don't know, a couple weeks or so probably. And then there's a lot of cool shit coming out this month, actually, to be honest with you, at the end of this month, the tail end, one on my birthday, as a matter of fact, which is going to be the Last of Us 2 remaster. I'm looking forward to that, January 19th. And it's only $10 if you already have the game. I think I did mention this, before. If you already have The Last of Us 2, you got to buy that. I mean, this is the closest thing you're going to get to factions. I would definitely take it. Okay. So that's me right there. Well, yeah, Persona 5, man, beautiful game, loving it. And before this, I have not played any of their games, any of their Persona games at all. And I really didn't know too much about the series. I know Atlas is making the game or are making the games, and Atlas, I know for a fact as a company, period, I know about their pedigree. Okay. I know they make dope games, and I kind of understand now why Persona 5 and just that whole Persona series is really dope, and why so many people are looking forward to Persona 3 Reload, which I am as well. It's coming out free on the Game Pass. So that's kind of like, right up my alley. And I hope we get a Switch version, because right now there's no Switch version announced. And I'm figuring, why would they put out a Switch version when they already put out Persona 5 Royale for the Switch? Now, what they did do with Persona 5 on the Switch is wait for 2 or 3 years, I think. So they waited a long time before they decided to port it to the Switch. Now, that could be the same thing that they're going to do with this game here, but I don't know, because I think this year we're going to get the Nintendo Switch 2, and I don't know what they're going to do. I think Nintendo also could be hiding this release. There's what a lot of people are saying, like they could be hiding it and they want to announce it on their platform, maybe on a direct or something. I don't know. But everywhere you look, you hear of this game coming out for every system except for the Switch. And that may be because they have to optimize it properly. You know what I mean? It takes time when you're dealing with an inferior system sometimes. And even though this game is old, the original came out, I want to say on PSP, if I'm not mistaken. But this is definitely a revamped version. The game looks a lot closer to Persona 5, which So far, I'm loving the art style. And like I said, it's just Persona has its own kind of flair to it, man. I mean, I love the art style. The art style is crazy. I've never played an RPG like this before. Everything about the game, from transitions from one screen to the next, and just these little things that I've noticed, the music, the soundtrack, everything about that game is now making me understand why it's really up there when you talk about a lot of people who name some of their top RPGs. And this is definitely one of those. And now I really understand why that is. So I stopped myself from playing it on the PS5 and said, you know what? I've got like 4 hours invested so far. Let me stop, because I want to check out the best version there is to offer. I can do it on the Switch. I can do it on the go. And I said, you know what? That would be a perfect addition to the Switch collection. And I went ahead and did it. I think I paid like, it was almost $40, something like that. So not a bad deal, not a bad price. And I am so intrigued by this game on the PS5. I said, you know what? And all the reviews on the Switch are golden. So no pun intended. But I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to buy this, and I want the definitive edition, and I want it on the go. So I went ahead and stopped playing on the PS5 and got it for the Switch. So portability wins over graphics, or whatever you want to call it, if that's how you want to compare it. For me personally, sometimes that's where the Switch kind of outshines all these other consoles. And if you had a Steam Deck, same thing. You know, there's certain games that I just haven't had a chance to play and won't have a chance to play unless I have a Steam Deck, or, you know, you buy something on Steam. You know, I don't play games on my laptop. I really don't. So for me, it would be those indie titles, and it would be like a lot of retro stuff for me personally, with the Steam Deck, when that purchase does happen. And it will happen. Trust me, it's going to happen. Okay. I am a sucker for handhelds as well. I love my Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. And yeah, man, I love it's like a baby Nintendo 64. I play mostly Nintendo 64 games on that thing, and PlayStation games. All right. And then, you know, I can go down the list, and then Dreamcast as well. So those are the ones that I play a lot of. And like I said, awesome system, man. Like for the retro stuff, you can't go wrong with that. And I think it's like $150. It was when I bought it. And now the Retroid Pocket 4 is out. So that's $150. So you could probably get a Retroid 3 Plus for maybe $100. And if you catch the right guy, you might be able to get it for like 75, you know, $80. So these things just keep popping out. And it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful that technology is allowing us to do all that. I know I'm segueing into something completely different, but I just love getting into those zones, you know, when I talk about a lot of these games and just how I consume them, because a true gamer, at least from my perspective, is going to find a way to play something all the time. I don't care where you're at, you know what I mean? I'm one of those guys that, look, I know my beefy systems, my consoles are at home, and I'm not going to be home all the time. There's got to be a way for me to be able to game on the go. And I'm not a guy who plays a lot of cell phone games, you know, and stuff like that. You know, so I need something in my hand. I need some buttons to push, you know, so the Switch is there for me. And then I also, as a backup for my other retro stuff, I have my Retroid Pocket. And it's crazy because I was literally unpacking a couple weeks ago, and I had a box full of literally all my consoles. I have my Nintendo 64 in there. I had my Dreamcast in there, my Sega Saturn in there. All of these consoles are in this box, and I shrink wrapped everything, and I just put them in a box, right? And it's amazing now that I could go in my room, in my dresser drawer, and pull out the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, and then I can play all of those in the palm of my fucking hand. And if I really wanted to, I could hook it up to a screen and play them there. So it's like there's no limitations. That's how crazy technology is. But, you know, I am a retro whore, if you want to call me that. And I do love my physical media too. You know what I mean? I still love the look of the Dreamcast. I still love my Sega Saturn and all those things. And I love the fact that you can do certain things with those systems, where you can burn games on discs and play them like that and stuff. It's just something about them. And they're still making stuff. There's companies out there who are still making controllers and wireless controller adapters and stuff for these things, for that nerd in us out there. So, you know, it's just beautiful to know that these things exist for us now. It's crazy how far it's come. I mean, I was there when they first came out. I was there before all that. So to be able to sit here and watch all this stuff kind of manifest is a beautiful thing to me. and I'm just kind of geeking out over it right now. So please forgive me for that. But anyway, yes, Persona 5 is on the list, guys. I'm going to keep you guys posted on that, and definitely, hopefully I'm done with that by the time Reload comes out. Because this game is a beefy game. Like, it's one of those 100-hour games, easily you could put 80, 90 hours into. So, and I'm one of those guys who love to grind and, get every character, at least my favorites. Hey, these guys are going to be slapping hard. So I got to do whatever I need to get them where I want them. And, yeah. So Persona, like I said, the Royale version is offering a few other things, and I didn't want to spoil myself and look into them too deep, but I just heard that was the definitive edition. So I went ahead and grabbed it, and I'm so glad that I actually gave it a try on the PlayStation 5. So yeah, that is just a dope game. If you have a PlayStation 5 and you just want to get into Persona and you haven't played it, I mean, it's right there for you. I think you get it free with the subscription or whatever if you have one, and it's definitely worth it. And I'm so mad. I could have played Persona, the Royale version, on the Xbox Game Pass. It was sitting there for months, and I had it literally downloaded to play. I said, I'm going to play this, and it ran out on me. Like, I guess I went back to play it and it said, no, you no longer have to. You can buy it now. So that's the only thing about the Xbox that I don't like, is the fact that once a game expires, even if you have it downloaded, you're fucked. But PlayStation doesn't do it that way. If you get a game and it's, on for that month, hey, this game is free. You can download this. If you download it now before it expires, so that you can always play it. So once you download it, once you click it, like, hey, I like this game, that game, you can forever download it whenever, as long as you have your online subscription. With Microsoft, it's not like that. Once the game is gone, it's completely gone, and you're not going to be able to play it. And then when the time is up, you're just going to have to pay for it if you want to play it later. So that's the only thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way on Game Pass. I figured they had something like that but I guess they figured, hey, everybody could do that, and then they would never have to pay for the games or whatever. I guess I'm kind of perplexed on that, but yeah, can't do that there. But anyway, let's move on, man. And I just kind of want to talk to you guys about 2023 a little bit, because 2023 has been a beautiful year. I'm sorry, for video games. It was one of the best. Like, if I'm not mistaken, like 2023 for video games has been so outlandishly fantastic, man. I mean, there's a lot of games that I am going to miss on this list, but there's just some games that I personally had a chance to play. And it just goes to show you, if you're on a budget, I mean, you're just not going to be able to, no one is ever going to be able to play all these games. I mean, there's not enough time to play all of them now. It's kind of like you're playing catch up. You're always playing catch up with something. You go for the ones you really, really want to play. And then the other ones you kind of have to let fall in your lap when the prices go down, or when you have more time available, and that's just how it goes, right? And then you end up sometimes finding games that you passed on, and when you finally get a chance to play them, you realize, yo, this was actually better than this game that I was so harshly anticipating, right? And you played it and you fall in love with that game, and you're like, wow. And those are the beautiful things too, those beautiful surprises that you get when you play games, and you're not expecting it to be as good as it. You like it, you want to play it, but it wasn't one of those games when you first saw it that, hey, I had to play it right now. And when you finally get a chance to do it, it ends up like just blowing your mind, right? So those are the things that I'm excited for personally. And it kind of happened for me with Persona like that. And even though I'm just a few hours in the game, I can already tell that what I've seen thus far is just, I know I'm going to get my brain racked. I know I'm going to, get surprised. I know I'm just going to my jaw's going to hit the floor a few times. I'm sure of it. So I'm ready for that. I'm anticipating that. And I'm excited. That was one of those games. So cheers to having more of those happen, okay, as time progresses. So as far as 2023 is concerned, though, man, the list is ridiculous. Now, some of the games I've played, Street Fighter 6, and you guys know how I felt about Street Fighter 6. I talked so much about Street Fighter 6 before it came out, when it came out, and it's just a great fighting game. It's one of the best, man. You know what I mean? I mean, what more can you say? And then they packed it full of goodies this year, and Capcom is still Capcom, because Capcom is still trying to, hit everybody now on the back end with the butter They've, pulled some butter out recently, and they're trying to tax everybody on these costumes. And, that's not a beautiful thing for me. So, I put, Street Fighter 6 down for a while, and have been playing it. But I've been playing Dragon Ball Fighters. That's really the fighting game that I've been playing right now recently. And then some like 2K23, if you want to call that a fighting game. I kind of put it in the fighting game category because you technically are fighting. And it's really one of my favorite games, fighting wise, I guess, to play. Like, even though I wasn't really into wrestling anymore, which is a whole nother story now. But now, I've always loved wrestling games, and some of my all-time favorite games, even to this day, are games that came out before the year 2000. You're right around 2000, like 99, 2000, like over 20 years ago. And I'm talking about the WCW NWO Revenge. I'm talking about the No Mercy. I'm talking about the Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. Those are my three favorite games on the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo 64. I'm sorry, my bad. Those are three of my most favorite. And then you got Mario 64, and it's just, but those wrestling games, man, I'm telling you right now, I could play those all day. I can play them all day. No doubt. No fucking lie. Even to this day, I still play them like crazy. When I get into a zone, I'm on I'm on that shit, man. I'm telling you. When I take the Retroid Pocket out, I've created characters. It was just so ahead of its time. And that engine is still, it never gets old. That engine is so cool. There's nothing like it, man. They call it the AKI engine, AKI engine. And it's just, I remember seeing it for the first time when I walked into a Funko Land. And this was before GameStop was called GameStop. It was called Funko Land. That's how old my ass is. But I remember walking into one of the Funko Lands and seeing it. And somebody did like a DDT or something, or a power bomb, one of the guys, and he just lay there having a seizure. His head was just, rocking up and down. His feet were kind of dangling. And I was like, what is that? I have to play that. I have to figure out how to get it. Like, what is this? And I spent the next, I don't know, maybe probably 9 months or so doing whatever I could, scraping up whatever I could scrape up to get that game. Okay. And I've just never, some games you play and you leave them for years and you come back and say, oh, I remember this. And you play it and you're like, wow, this looks terrible now. This aged very bad. Right. But you have some of those other games that you play and you're like, man, I still love this game. And you play it again, maybe 10 years later, right? And you're like, you're just as invested as you were when you first played the game. Like, there are games like that, timeless games, in my opinion. And these are timeless games, right? Now, of course, if you blow them up on a flat screen TV, they're going to be kind of blurry and it's going to, look like that. But if you play it on one of the old school, TVs that they were made on, it still looks nice and crispy. When I play it, especially in handheld mode on smaller devices or whatever, those look extra crispy. And then now they have the filters and everything on them now as well. So they look really good still to this day. And that engine just, for me, it just never gets old, right? Some games are just like that. And those are the ones for me. Nobody can top those games. And even something like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, guys, on the original Nintendo. Okay. That shit still slaps. All right. In 2024. All right. I fucking love it. So that's the thing that I'm talking about. And I'm kind of geeking out and, just spilling my guts to you guys. But man, this is how much I love video games, guys. This is why the podcast is here. This is why, I do what I do. We all have our hobbies and stuff, and I never hate on anyone in their hobbies, man. Some people love books. Some people love to skate. Some people love to eat. Some people, you know what I'm saying? Love sports, love to whatever, and this is my love. This is my thing, and this is what I like to do in my spare time. And it just makes me feel good and it's therapeutic. All of this stuff, guys. I mean, I think I told you guys I created a character in WW 2K23. I created my girl's mother, right? And if all my OG listeners are, my listeners that have been listening, the situation, the story, all the shit that went down, and why we're back here in Louisville. But it was because of her. She pulled some dumb shit. And, me and my son sat around and I created her in a game. I created my girl's mother in a game. I made it look almost as close to her as I could make it look, right? And I began to whoop her ass, digitally. I pulled out digital butter, and I spilled it everywhere. I warmed the whole tub of butter up, and I basically just poured it all over. Okay. And I used it in every way possible. I think I had Randy Orton, and I fucking, hit her with, I just did so many things and it felt good. All right. It felt great, actually. So just looking forward to creating her in some of my other games, my my Nintendo 64 wrestling games. I think gave myself an idea, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to bust her ass up there too. And the cool thing there is I had to get real smart, right? I had to get kind of wise, because in 2K23 you can't have girl on boy matches, you know what I mean? And that's why I missed the Attitude Era and all that shit, because they didn't give a fuck. You could do man versus woman, it didn't matter, handicap, whatever, and it was all good, right? You can't do that here, and you can make them bleed too. You can bust them open, all of that, right? You cannot do any of that on the newer games. It's just politically incorrect, or whatever you want to call it. So you have to get very creative, and you have to create a guy, but you have to give him all girl, cosmetics and stuff to make it kind of pass for a woman, which she does. Actually kind of still looks like her, which is crazy, which is amazing. I made it happen. But that's the way you have to do it in this game, but the other games, no, you don't. You just are just going to make a fat person and put her complexion on there and make some basic shit, put some gray hair on top and make that gray hair turn red. You know what I mean? And it's very therapeutic, because it's something that I personally couldn't do in real life, even though I may have wanted to, like DDT her on the kitchen floor or some shit like that. That's not going to be possible. Anybody with half a brain would realize, you can't get physical. And you can't do that. So the other alternative is, hey, you can create her though. You can make her, and you can do all these things. And believe it or not, the shit fucking made me feel so much better afterwards. Right. So whenever I feel, like I'm getting upset or she's on my mind, and cause every once in a while it still hasn't, it's still kind of fresh in my head. So it's still going to be another 6 months or so before it's finally like, okay, completely out of me and all that dies down. So until then, I am going to just pull the game up whenever I feel the need to, and I feel a certain way, and I'm going to make myself feel better. Okay. And I'm going to use butter to do it. But anyway, going on the side tangent, I'm going to segue into wrestling just for a second, just for 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I know I'm all over the place, guys, but it's 2024 now, and I'm excited. But anyway, yeah, man, wrestling. I've been watching a lot of wrestling lately, man. I think for somebody who used to watch it a lot, years ago, I think this is, we're somewhere now in wrestling, in my opinion, that we have not been since the Attitude Era, in my opinion, and I could always watch the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars. WCW was my favorite. Most people claim that, they liked WWF, and I love them both. I loved it all. ECW was another one of mine that I really liked. And then later, TNA or Impact Wrestling is what they call it now, is kind of came into the picture. So a lot of my favorite wrestlers from back in the day, some of them are still wrestling like now. Samoa Joe and, Motor City Machine Guns. Alex Shelley is the champion in TNA right now. I don't know if you guys know who these guys are, but these are people that, I grew up watching. And they're some of my favorite guys. A lot of these are indie wrestlers, or they wrestled. They're not super known, but they're known in the wrestling community. A lot of them, most of them wrestled all over the world, Japan and Mexico and all these places, and that type of stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like wrestling now is at a place where it's not being bogged down by one company. It feels like EA in the Madden games. It feels like now everybody can make football games now. It doesn't have to just be EA that's making Madden games. So it makes shit more interesting, and it forces WWE as a company to tighten up their ship, right? And make their product more better. So all the shit that everybody complained about with WWE, they held the keys, but now with all these other companies out here, it's not that way. You're seeing also Ring of Honor, which is another really what is an indie scene, and which is really popular, and a lot of fans really gravitate towards that. And a lot of wrestlers that you guys may know today come from that Ring of Honor promotion, and there's a lot of other ones. So I don't know, it's just really interesting. All of it, I've been watching them all on YouTube. You know, I watch them in kind of like those clips or whatever in single matches. And, you know, I have some new favorite wrestlers that I like a lot. I really like Dolph Ziggler. I've always liked him. And I was kind of shocked. I was really perplexed when they let him go. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And this is me just this was really when I first started getting into it again. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? And, you know, once you get into it on YouTube, you know how it goes. Like, you get in your feed, and next thing you know, you have recommendations falling out the wazoo, and then you start watching clips and like, yo, okay. And even shoots on other wrestlers where you hear like some of your old favorite wrestlers talk about other wrestlers and how they were, and, you know, the backstage stuff. You know, that stuff was interesting to me, and I just kind of fell down this wrestling rabbit hole, so to speak, or whatever. And I just started watching it again, and TNA is really, I think it's a really underrated promotion, man. But they got a lot of stuff going for them right now. And like I said, my boy, one of my favorites is Alex Shelley. He was one half of the Motor City Machine Guns, and he is the champion over there, one of the champions. So yeah, I'm interested, you know, in all that stuff. So now you have all these other wrestlers. There's a guy that goes by the name of Swerve Strickland, and that's another one of my favorites now, man. His intro is his intro is second to none. Nobody, I don't think, has a better entrance than he does right now. Just Google, if you don't know what I'm talking about, even if you're not a wrestling fan and you can give a fuck, but just Google Swerve Strickland's entrance. All right. And just, yeah, tell me how you feel after you watch that. I just think it's so dope. But anyway, he's another one. And there's some other ones as well that are, down the line that I definitely like. Jericho is another one of my all time favorites, but he's not a very, I don't know. He's not really he's just something about Jericho that just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. He's kind of a douche. And, you know, at least that's what I get from him. I mean, but you can't take away what he's done in the ring. And he's still one of my all time favorite wrestlers of all time, you know, over there with Sting and some of those guys. But yeah, man, it is what it is, I guess. But I just had to, you know, gush and nerd out over wrestling just a little bit, because I just felt that it's something I've been doing lately. So I just wanted to share it with you guys, right? Because I'm going to share what I've been doing. And I've been watching a lot of that shit, right? Tongue tie. I've been watching a lot of these matches and a lot of this stuff recently. So it's interesting. It's piqued my interest. So yeah, I'm there for it. But anyway, let's get back to these games. Okay. Some of the games that I've played this year that I fucking adore. And let's get back to that list. I think I left off with, Street Fighter 6. Yeah. We also have Tears of the Kingdom, of course. That is a fucking classic. We know this. I haven't beaten it, and I wasn't trying to beat it. It's one of those games I call marathon, one of those marathon games where, to me, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild were games where you just kind of, just take your time. It may take me 9 years to beat that fucking game. You know what I mean? I might not beat that shit till 2027, you know? Played in spurts, that's how I play that game. Then you also have stuff like Resident Evil 4 Remake, which was definitely one of those games that everybody was anticipating. It's my favorite Resident Evil game of all time. And then next under that would be Resident Evil 2. But yeah, man, game was a fucking classic. Beat the game. Loved it to death. And then we have Jedi Survivor. I really, really liked Jedi Survivor, man. I had a great time with that game too. And you guys, if you listen to the podcast, you know when that came out, I talked a lot about that and just what they were able to do with this one. And now I'm looking forward to the next one. It's going to be crazy. This one really ended. It had a lot of epic shit happen. And Cal Kestis is definitely one of my favorite babyface Jedis. Okay. Babyface means in the wrestling terms, like the good guy. Okay. And the heel is what they call the bad guy. So yeah. Definitely enjoyed that game. And I still have a lot to do. I beat the story, but like after you beat the story, you can still go around and do all the things that, you know, you haven't finished, your secret bosses and things of that nature that you can find, cosmetics and different lightsabers and stuff like that. So, you know, for another day, for another time, but I definitely loved the world. I definitely loved my time with Jedi Survivor for sure. And then we also have Cyberpunk. You know, we can't forget about Cyberpunk, right? Cyberpunk is just the gift that keeps on giving, right? It's it's just a dope game. It just happened to fall on its face, out of the gate because of technical reasons, right? And once they got that together, which I think all the devs were trying to make happen and push the game back, way back then, they had no power though, of course, and they were forced to put it out ahead of its time. But now we're seeing the fruits of the labor catching up and seeing what everything looks like now. It looks great. Everything, the game, the DLC is excellent, and they've added more DLC stuff. So I thought it was done with 2.0, and no, they weren't. They did 2.1 and so on and so forth. So who knows? I would not be surprised if we got another fucking update somewhere down the line. I know they have a new team, and that team is working on the next game, and they're dropping this red engine and they're moving on to the Unreal 5 engine, which is, I'm not going to argue with them there. I am going to miss the red engine though. But hey, I'm so excited to see what they're going to bring with this Unreal Engine 5, because in my opinion, Unreal Engine 5 hasn't been really discovered. Like there's so much headroom with that Unreal Engine 5 here. So I think it's going to be years before the devs really catch up and are able to I think it's going to be years before they're able to hone in and really give us everything that the Unreal Engine 5 is capable of, in my humble opinion. So looking forward to that for sure. Another game, I have to star this one, and it's this Armored Core 6. Okay, From Software, they do it, and they do it well. Anytime you really go around From Software, if you go to From Software's office with a white glove on, you're not going to find any dry butter. You're not going to find any butter anywhere in the offices. Okay, you're not going to find sake glasses. You're not even going to find residue from a sake glass. You're not going to find endo sticks or sherm or used, crack pipes or anything like that in their offices, because they're a drug free, they're a sake free environment. They're a butter free environment. Everything they drop is butter free. I'm sorry, I'm bucking out, but yeah, man, I mean that shit. Okay. Just excellent. Everything from everything that they do, man. A lot of people complain about their engine. Okay. And what they do with theirs. Okay. When their games drop, not this one, but no, actually this one too. No, let me take that back. This and Elden Ring, they were complaining, and hey, when are they gonna go to Unreal 5? And eventually they will get to Unreal 5, guys. They will. Like I said, when you're used to a certain engine, it's like, yo, I can do so many things. I know it so well. And, it's going to take time to make that jump. But when they do, they're going to find a way to make it good. And whatever they put out, it always sells, because it's not necessarily the engine, guys. I mean, I've preached this before. It's not the graphics necessarily all the time. It is how good is the game, right? Because I said it so many times. There's games that are old as dirt that still hold people's attention to this day. And they can play them for hours and hours and hours, right? That's just that simple. So that's kind of a company that I think of when I think of From Software. Another game is Like a Dragon. Okay, Like a Dragon in Gaiden. Okay, The Man Who Erased His Name. I'm currently playing that one too. I've taken a break right now, but that's the game on my Xbox that I am playing currently. That's the number one game I'm playing on Xbox now, and I've been enjoying that shit. And that's the one I was playing before all that bullshit happened. So I haven't played a lot of Xbox since I came back, since we got the new place. But once I turn the Xbox on, I will definitely get me some of that. Okay, if I get a chance to play it before February. If not, it's going to be Persona 3 Reload probably, but it's still in rotation. I plan on finishing that game for sure, because I was having some fun with that bitch. All right, next game on the list, Final Fantasy. You can't come on. Final Fantasy 16. Let's go. There's a lot of Final Fantasy 16 haters out there in these video game streets, and I am not one of them. Okay, as a huge Square Enix fan, I love this game. Okay, a lot of you guys aren't old enough to understand who Squaresoft was. Okay, Squaresoft. Who's fucking Squaresoft? That was Square Enix before Square Enix. Okay, and they've created straight classics. They did a lot of dope shit. I mean, yes, they did plenty. Okay, Toe Ball #1. It's a fighting game that to this day is still one of my favorite fighting games. Like, people don't know about Tobal. All right. There's Tobal number 1 and Tobal number 2 came out in Japan with so many more characters, which I haven't had a chance to play. But Tobal number 1 had limited characters, but it was a rock, paper, scissors type of combat system, and you'd have to see it to believe it. And it still holds up to today. It's one of those games that still holds up. And the art style was done by Akira Toriyama from Dragon Ball fame. So that alone right there is what caught me and got my interest in the game, right? So yeah, I'm just telling you right now, Squaresoft is the shit. Anyway, as a Square Enix fan, Final Fantasy 16 to me is just, it was a different game. It's not like any other Final Fantasy game, okay? And that's part of the reason why I love it. I definitely love the story and a lot of the characters in that. And the way that they ended that fucking game has got me a little salty, but I have hope and faith because we have one more DLC coming out. And I haven't played the other DLC yet, and I'm not going to until the other DLC drops. So when the other DLC drops, I'm going to go and replay it again and do my second playthrough with both those DLCs. But hopefully that last DLC that we're getting in 2024 will give us the answers we seek. Okay, because I'm not going to spoil anything if you haven't played Final Fantasy 16, but there's something that goes down and we want answers. Okay, I want answers for damn sure. But anyway, that was one of my favorite games of 2023. So there you have it. Next game on the fucking list, 2K 2023, WWE 2K23. All right. It was one of the best wrestling games I've played from 2K since 2K19. Okay. Before that, it was just 2K19 and there was nothing else. I was playing 2K19 years after the other ones because they were fucking piss poor. Okay. They were. All right. THQ, one of the companies left. I forgot who it was, I want to say, but that was working on the games for years. They left the company and they tried to do it themselves. Okay. 2K said, we're going to do in-house, and it failed miserably starting out. And then they finally caught up in 2K23, and that game there is slaps. Okay. The only thing I hate about the 2K games, man, is the saves. So if you download custom shit for custom characters and all that shit, if you take the game off of your system, you want to play it again later, so you try to bring it back, you lose all that shit, right? Even the shit that you paid for. At least that was my experience with 2K19. Okay, so I'm afraid to delete this fucking game off my hard drive because it's just, that is very piss poor in my opinion. All right, I hope that was just an accident or some sort of crazy, just where the moons just happen to line up that way. I just hope it's like that, but I don't know, man. It scares me because a lot of my downloaded characters and stuff like that, you know, I do not want to lose them. All my arenas and all that shit, you know, that shit is dope. When I need nostalgia and I need to go back to the Monday Night Wars or the TNA days or ECW, you know, I could do that with those creative arenas and stuff like that. So that's what I loved about that game. So yeah, me and my son played the shit out of it. And like I said, we beat the brakes off of his grandma, you know, we did at least this last week. So yeah, looking forward to that again, busting some heads open, pulling out warm butter and repeating the process. Let's move on. The next game is Hogwarts Legacy. That was a surprise to me. You know, I was never a Hogwarts fan, never saw any of the movies or anything like that, but the game looked cool and it was cool. Pretty much all I'll say about that. It just wasn't over the top amazing to me, you know, but it was definitely a solid game and it was something that I did enjoy. Definitely. So definitely good ups. I heard they had some updates too, because I haven't played it in a long time since it first came out. So I had to go back over there and see what they have added or what they've done. But yes, that was a dope game. But okay, next was Starfield. We know about Starfield. Okay, there's mixed feelings about Starfield, but in my humble opinion, Starfield was a solid game. So Starfield was a good game. Okay, wasn't great, but it was a good game. It was definitely worth playing through. I'll say that. And a lot of people actually love Starfield. You know, it's just, I think it was just hyped up so much that everybody just had this expectation that it was just going to be, you know, game of the year, and it didn't even get nominated. So that's, you know, it happens sometimes when you overhype a game and you take forever for the game to come out and you push it back and all these things numerous times. And if you just read between the lines and you look at how the game came out, it came out on the Series S as well. So, you know, there's limitations behind that. They weren't able to, in my opinion, fully spread their wings like they may have wanted to. And I think, you know, it is what it is. 30 frames, you know, everybody was saying, pissed about that and all that. But that really for me wasn't the reason why the game was just okay. It was just a few other things in there, but it was still all around a great game. Well, a good game. I'll say that. And then you have God of War Ragnarok. Come on now. I wasn't going to leave that off the table. I wasn't. God of War Ragnarok was one of the best stories. God of War, that whole from 2018 on, is one of the best just story, father-son stories, period. Who would ever thunk that, right? That fucking Kratos, of all people, would have one of the best father-son games. And it's not even over yet. They're working on another one. They are. And when it drops, it's going to be glorious. But anyway, I had a great time with that one, man. I fucking loved the fucking story. The ending kind of was a fucking tearjerker too. And I'm so happy for, Kratos and Atreus. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future, man. Love those fucking games. All right. Now, 2023 had a lot of games, as you know, but there are also a lot of games that came out in 2023 and I didn't get a chance to play. And I want to mention some of those games because, like I said, guys, there's just too many games. We're not going to get to play them all. There's so many indies as well because I'm a big indie fan and we're just not going to be able to play them all. It's just what it is, right? And some of the games that I do want to play, and I eventually will try to make that happen at some point, is Mortal Kombat 1. Okay, that's another one. And the reason why Mortal Kombat 1 just kind of resonated with me is because Smoke is one of my favorite characters all time in the whole series, and he was missing for a while. Quan Chi was another one. He's in this game, okay? And then on top of all of that, they decided to fucking put Homelander in this game. Now, Homelander is one of my favorite villains in the, superhero villain, whatever universe or whatever. Ever since The Boys, that show came out on Amazon Prime, this guy has been one of my favorite all time. I just love this dude. I love this character, man. And for him to, I said, I'm going to play Mortal Kombat when he releases, and he should be coming out in a few months. And I cannot wait to see how he plays and what he's about. I'm gonna have some fun, even if it's just, me getting my ass whooped online or whatever. I have to play this. I have to play this character when that game comes out. So yeah, look for me playing that. And then we all know, well, we don't all know, but Mortal Kombat is synonymous for making awesome story-driven games. Like, their story mode in their fucking games are fucking outstanding, man. Okay, Mortal Kombat 11 had a dope-ass story, man. Mortal Kombat 10 as well. So, looking forward to the story in this. And this is a revamp, so everything has changed, and what we remember is going to be different. So, looking forward to playing the story mode as well. So, yeah, definitely going to be something to fuck with at some point this year. One of these down months that I don't plan on buying anything, and I get it on a discount, because right now I think it's like $40, literally for another few days, and it's on sale. So yeah, by the time I get ready to pick it up again, it'll probably be 30 or maybe even $25. I may be able to get it eBay or somewhere for like $25, $30 or something. So that's how we play the game, baby. That's how you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? You got to get them like that. Because the cool thing about not playing everything when you want to is that they're going to come back around. Okay. And they're going to be cheaper, and you're going to forget about some of them. Yo, I forgot about this game. Oh, and it's only $20. Oh yeah, let me grab it. So that's the beauty of video games. That's one good side to it, if you ask me. Another game that's I definitely want to play when the price drops is Assassin's Creed Mirage. That game has a lot of lovers and a lot of haters. All right, a lot of people love the, I love the original. Where it was just so simple. You had to assassinate. It wasn't about fighting, and it wasn't this RPG, this open world RPG type of thing. And I understand that element, even though I prefer the other. The way that they took Assassin's Creed, they took it to a more of a open world, action RPG type of experience. And I like that side better. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. I'm looking forward to the one with the Japanese backdrop, but I think it's called Assassin's Creed Red or something like that. But yeah, I think that's coming out this year. I hope it's coming. I can't remember 2024 or 2025, man. God damn it. I hope it's this year though. But yeah, looking forward to that one. That is probably my most anticipated Assassin's Creed game. But yeah, I still want to play this one too, because I saw some reviews and some gameplay of it, and I really kind of enjoy the original, in essence, kind of going back and doing it like that. Some of those assassins were just, man, chef's kiss. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, eventually, definitely want to add that to my Assassin's Creed collection. Another game on here for the Switch. Got to go Fire Emblem. Okay, Fire Emblem Engage. That's the one that's calling my name the most. They have a number of different ones, but out of all of them, Engage is the one that I really want to play the most, and it's the most over the top, and it's the most flashy. And I'm a flashy guy sometimes when it comes to my games. Okay, not me. When it comes to my games, I'm very flashy sometimes. So yeah, this one here is one that I am going to pick up, am going to add to the collection. When the price is right, I will add it to the Switch library. And my Switch library is fattening it up. I'm not going to lie to you. I still haven't. Do you guys believe this? I still have not played Super Mario RPG. I haven't. It's still in the fucking shrink wrap. It's still sealed up. It hasn't been unlocked. Okay. And it's just, I'm telling you, man, like, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just, there's so many games, and it's just like, you just play when you get to them, and that's a beautiful thing. Just add it to your backlog, and just keep adding, right? Because there may come a super dry spell of time, or it may be a money situation. It may be whatever. Okay. And it's like, I haven't been able to play anything. I haven't been able to buy anything, play anything for whatever reason it may be, right? Then this is where your backlog comes to play, right? Especially like your portable shit, like, okay, I have nothing. I'm not at my home. I'm away somewhere for whatever reason. And, you pull out the Switch and you're like, okay, let me comb through all these games. Oh man, okay, I have RPG here, or I have this. Let's bust it open. Let's see what's up. And that's what the backlog is for. There's still a lot of Switch games, man, that I have not played that I should have played, and I really wanted to, and I just couldn't get to them, man. It's just the money and the time is crazy, right? Bayonetta 3 is another one. I mean, No More Heroes 3, right? That's another one. I just mentioned Fire Emblem Engage. So there's a lot of them that I still want to play and still will play eventually and will buy. It's just, like I said, you got to catch them. And Nintendo, we all know that those sales are going to be too far in between, because Nintendo does not. They really don't lighten up a lot of their games. Their games stay pretty expensive. They're cartridge based, and they like to keep those prices up. And that's just the market that it is. Nintendo Switch games have a really expensive aftermarket to a lot of their shit. So, eBay is my best friend for Nintendo Switch games. They are. That's where I bought the Persona game, Persona 5 Royale at, and that's where I'll probably buy a lot of my other ones at, and usually get the best prices from eBay, even better than Amazon. Amazon, every once in a while, have a good price, but eBay reigns supreme on that. Got to keep that eBay app on deck, baby. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, and let's go to the next game. And Spider-Man 2, of course. Spider-Man 2 is that game, and I've played the other ones, and I think that's why I wasn't so anxious for the last one. And, I'm good on that. When I do play Spider-Man 2, it will be on a discount, and I will enjoy myself thoroughly when I do play it. Trust me, I will. So I am a Spider-Man fan too. Don't get it twisted. I love the symbiote costume. It's my favorite Spider-Man, and I will definitely get into it. I didn't even spoil myself on the story or anything. I don't even know what happened, and I'm glad I didn't do that. So when I do play it, hey, it'll be a smack in the face, and that's a good thing. It's always a good thing for me, especially in today's age with the media and everything like that. You can't hide from anything. Okay, you can't avoid shit. The next game, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, of course, classic. It's a classic Mario game. It's a new Mario game, but it will go down as a classic for sure. I have a friend who has it, and he said his wife has already beaten it, and it's crazy. And I'm like, she doesn't play games like that. So yeah, Super Mario Wonder is one of those games that can bring everyone together, and everybody can enjoy themselves. Next game on the list is, I can't believe this. I forgot this one, for real. Alan Wake 2. Come on, man. Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 there's something about that game. And this is one of the only games currently that is a AAA game, but is download only. There's no physical copy of this. Now, there may be a physical copy coming I think this is going to happen. Don't hold me to it, but if I was a gambling man, I would say that eventually they are going to be coming out with a physical version of Alan Wake 2. I don't know how they're going to sell it to people because that game looks to be pretty beefy. Most of it, they may say, okay, it's a double disc. We put everything here, and they may be able to make that happen because after all of the updates and the patches finally come out, they can say, okay, we have everything we need. Let's put this definitive edition out physical for the masses, and they can play it off of this disc, right? So who knows? They said they did that with Spider-Man. They said Spider-Man 2 is all on the fucking disc, right? They were able to do that. So that kind of had me shook. They don't do that hardly anymore. Who does that now, right? But yeah, so hopefully I'm kind of holding off for that, but that's a game I definitely want to play. I definitely want to play that this 2024. I'm definitely going to put that somewhere in the rotation for sure. Other game on the list is Lies of P, and I have that game currently now on the Xbox Series S. It's already downloaded and all that. But if I take my time, I'm going to turn around and get done the same way I did with Persona 5 Royale. So I know I need to kind of put that and prioritize that game and do something with it. So going to probably have to try to prioritize that one soon. All right, because I think it's going to disappear and I don't know when. Next game, Lords of the Fallen, another From Software replica. I'm not even going to say that. It's From Software. It's cut from the same cloth. Let's just say that. And it's got its unique perks. I've seen some videos, some short videos, and some awesome things, actually, to be honest. And the game looks good. They're using Unreal Engine 5 with it. They're just scratching the surface of the Unreal Engine 5, but you can see the potential with an Unreal Engine 5 game and all the things that, they can do with it. So I'm looking forward to that one, my damn self. And, that'll definitely be another game to add to the collection for sure. Another one is Dead Space, the remake, and that's also, believe it or not, on the Series S. They just updated it, and I think it's only been there for a couple weeks now, but it's there, and this is one I've always wanted to play. Callisto Protocol is another one. That's the one we're currently playing now. Me and my son was playing the last one, playing that on PS5, but on the Xbox, though, Dead Space, the remake, I'm definitely checking that one out. I already downloaded it and everything, so eventually I am going to be playing that. I remember the old school ones, man, the first ones and the second one. Oh my God. It was one of the best experiences, scariest experience of my gaming life. Okay. And that shit still holds up to this day, which is hard to say for a lot of these games out here, but it's true. All right. Now those are the games that I want to play that I didn't get to play from 2023. Now, last but not least is the fucking list of 2024 games that are coming out this year, since we're now technically in 2024, and the games that we're really looking forward to playing, or me personally, I know for sure I'm looking forward to play. And there's a lot of them on here, guys. And I know I'm not going to get to them all. I know this, but I had to, mention them. Now there's a couple on here that are getting bought day one. I'm just letting you guys know that, and I will mention that to you. I will name those. You will know which games those are. The game I want to talk about is Like a Dragon. Oh, what another Like a Dragon game. Yes, but this one is Infinite Wealth. This is a turn-based RPG, believe it or not. Yes, a company known for their fighting games, okay, real-time fights in games. They are making a RPG. Now, they've done this before. I forgot the other game that they did it with, but it's not new to them. But this one here it looks really good. If you saw the previews and everything, they're really hyping this up. This is their bread and butter. You can tell that they are very proud of this title, and they want everybody to fucking know about it. And usually all their games are free on the Game Pass, but this one is not. And I don't know why this one's not on the Game Pass, but there's a reason why. I just never found out why. But it's cool because it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth the purchase if you have it in your wallet to check this one out. And this is definitely one I eventually will play. And if I wait long enough, it will probably come to Game Pass. So I'm not going to sweat it too hard, and that's why I'm not really worried, that bad. Anyway, next one on the list, The Last of Us 2 Remaster. Come on now, I just mentioned it earlier in the show. That one there is a no-brainer, $10. Okay. That's the easiest $10 I'm ever going to spend on my birthday. All right. For real. I can't fucking wait. And apparently Joel is playable once you unlock him. So I'm sure for that alone, there's going to be a lot of people wanting to play this and fuck with these modes and stuff like that. it's dope. If you just feel like playing and you don't necessarily want to play the story and you kind of just want to get out there and just kind of get that muscle memory flowing and stuff and doing your thing, this is like perfect for that, you know? And it's custom. You can make your own custom scenarios and matches and shit too. So there's a lot of cool shit here, guys. Next game, Final Fantasy VII. You know I was going to bring this up. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Come on now. This is probably going to be the number one seller. This is probably going to be one of the top sellers of 2024. I'm almost certain of it. And a lot of people don't like the strategy, the style that they're doing with this. I mentioned this last week, but about what Insomniac was doing when all the information got leaked and everything. You know, this kind of feels like that. And to their defense, the games are going to be pretty beefy, man. I mean, for what they're doing with these games now, I don't think there's a way, even if they said, you know what, fuck it. We listened to the people. We heard you guys. We're going to give you all three of these games. We got the whole trilogy out now. Okay. And we're going to give them all to you. But you know how much space you would need probably to play all those? You're going to probably need like, man, I don't know, 400 gigabytes or some shit like that. Something crazy to play all those. I'm quite sure because this one here is going to get really, really big, right? Compared to the other ones, because this one here is when the game opens up and you're able to travel and actually go and make it more open world. So that's why a lot of people are anticipating this one, and rightfully so, man, because it's definitely going to be up there and people are going to buy this. It's Final Fantasy VII. You're not... Okay, I don't care how you protest or whatever. That game is fucking selling. So I had to put it on the list. Definitely gonna be checking that one out. And I still have the first one to finish. Like, man, I don't know why I didn't finish that when I was playing it and something happened. And you can play a game and I'm on it, and then next thing you know, something happens. Another game comes out. Okay, I'm gonna go back to it, and next thing you know, that turns into a week, and then that turns into a month, and next thing you know, fuck, you haven't played that shit in 6 months. So it happens. I know I'm not the only one. And you end up circling back to a lot of these games, and that's just how it goes in the world of gaming sometimes, you know? But yeah, that one's coming out. A lot of good things, man, 2024. I'm so serious, man. Next game here. Ooh, Star Wars Outlaws. I saw this preview. At first, I didn't like it as much, but then I watched a couple more, and I heard the devs talk and everything. And, you know, Star Wars, anything for me is always a win, essentially. And like I said, after watching it a few times, I realized, this game is actually going to be pretty good. And I'm looking forward to playing this one. Don't know too much about it, but the preview is there. You guys can check it out, and it looks very promising. I'll say that. Now let's get to some, I don't know if you want to call these indies, but I categorize them as indies as such. And a couple of them I'm going to name here. And one of them is called Demon School. Now this one kind of takes a page out of the old school fucking Persona games, like from 1 and 2. You know, after doing some research on the Persona series this past week, I got a chance to kind of look at where it came from and kind of all of the Personas. You know, I didn't get the stories purposely. I didn't, because I'm planning on playing a lot of them now, but I did peep the production and how the games looked and how they played. And that Demon School looks like the first and second Persona game, which it looks great, and it's coming to all platforms in 2024. So definitely something indie wise, if you're looking for something sweet out there, this is one you might want to look into. Another game out here that I hear a lot of people talking about, man, and this one is Unicorn Overlord. And this is, I think Vanillaware is doing this, and Vanillaware is popular for their side-scrolling RPGs, their action RPGs. They're known out here in these video game streets. Okay. A lot of people love them. Their art style is crazy good. And this is one that caught my interest as well. It's a strategy based game, and it looks fucking breathtaking. I definitely see myself playing something like this, and it's coming out in 2024. So be looking out for that one as well. Let's get into this one here. It's coming out next month. Let's talk about it early next month, the 2nd of February. Let's talk about it. I hope it's February 2nd. It could be February 22nd. I have my dates mixed up, but it's coming out in February. All right. And that's Grand Blue Fantasy. All right. Relink. And this is one that I've been waiting for years, guys. I've talked about this one over the years, and it's going to be beautiful. Platinum Games worked on it in its inception for some years from the beginning. And then they left, and I forgot who finished it up. But anytime that Platinum Games touches something, hey, I'm definitely going to get curious. Okay. No doubt about it in my mind. And I'm ready to play it, man. It's also got online so you can play with friends and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. They said the campaign was kind of short, which is around 20 hours or so. For me, it'll probably be more closer to 30 because, just the way I play. And then after that, there's still another anywhere from 30 to 40 hours, okay, in-game content. So that's what I'm there for, okay, the online stuff. And if you can't find anybody to play online with, hey, you can use a computer to play AI. You know what I mean? So they definitely checked out all the boxes here, and they made sure that everybody was going to be happy. So if you want to play offline, you can, and if you want to play online, you can. So the best of both worlds here. And this is another reason why I really find myself gravitating towards this game. So I can't wait to play this. This is definitely a day one for me. And you're definitely gonna hear me talk about it, and you're probably gonna see some clips and stuff like that on the YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to. Random Gameplay Pimpin on YouTube and on TikTok. Please subscribe to those. Okay, thank you. After that, let's get on Wulong Fallen Dynasty. This is another game, okay, that was shown off years ago, and it takes a page out of the book from, I think, Journey to the West. Yeah, and you play as this monkey king or whatever. I don't know what he is, but he definitely has a pole, and he is doing a lot of damage out here in these digital streets. And the game is breathtaking. The game looks beautiful. It's definitely going to challenge you, okay, because this is kind of like it's cut from the same cloth as a Dark Souls title. The closest one that comes to my mind would maybe be Sekiro, if I'm being honest, but I don't know, man. I have to see more of it. It definitely looks like it's going to be an awesome game, and it comes out this summer. So yes, definitely going to be a day one for me. As I'm sitting here, could my mind change? Sure, but I don't think it will. I think this is definitely going to be a day one for me, for sure. It depends on what else is coming out. It's going to be hard to trump this game, though, for real. I don't know what else is coming in the summer, but we're going to be surprised with a lot, I'm sure, as the year progresses. So just get your popcorn ready. But this definitely is going to be a keeper, and one you want to have in your library, whether you buy it day one or whether you wait for a sale or whatever. But you definitely want to keep this one in your vision to purchase at one point in time, at some point. Next game on the list, of course, is Dragon's Dogma 2. That's a day one for me. There's no doubt in my fucking mind, guys, that I am a huge Dragon's Dogma fan. Okay, I have Dragon's Dogma on. I bought I guess it's the definitive edition or whatever on the PlayStation 4. And I have that one. I also recently bought it for the Nintendo Switch. Okay, Dark Arisen. I fucking love that game. Okay, and the Dragon's Dogma 2 game is definitely one that I have been looking forward to for so long. We had a release in Japan, Dragon's Dogma Online, but it never came to the fucking West, and I was so salty that it didn't happen, and we missed out on all of the glory of that. But that's okay, because we're going to get this one here, and we're going to get it March 22nd. So I am getting it day one for sure, and I know that release date, and it's going down. It's simply put, it's going down. You're definitely going to hear me talk about this one. You're going to see content on this one, and we're going to get into it in Dragon's Dogma. Okay. I love that series. So yes, highly, 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 highly anticipating this one. Warhammer. Let's go with Warhammer 40,000. That's another franchise, man. I remember PlayStation 3, they had a game, and it was very vicious, and it wasn't that easy, and it was gruesome, and I loved it. And they're doing another one, and it's coming out in 2024. So definitely get ready for that one. Okay. Rise of the Ronin. This is the game that comes out March 22nd, the same day that Dragon's Dogma comes out on. And that's the dilemma that I had, because this game looks fucking polished as fuck, man. All right. This game looks good. It looks very, very good. And I am going to play it eventually, but it won't be on March 22nd, guys. It'll be probably at a discount at a later date and time, because Dragon's Dogma is going to be there for me, and that's what I'll be playing. But I am definitely looking forward to playing that one, because you have guns and you have swords, like you have fucking rifles and shit like that as well. So yeah, mixing that together, those two, like, yo, you can't fucking, you can't hate that, right? So definitely can't wait to play that one as well eventually. There's a couple more here, and these are my, really highly anticipating this one as well. This is Persona 3 Reload now that I've tasted, a little bit of the Atlas Kool-Aid. It tastes so good, man. It is so fucking sweet, and I want more. So I can't wait for this one, and I'm going to be playing it day one when it comes out. All right. And I hope it comes out for the Switch. If it comes out for the Switch, I'm buying it day one for the Switch. Definitely. But it probably won't. and I'll just play it on Game Pass. And when it does come to Switch, then I'll probably buy it then. But anyway, can't wait for that game. Definitely looking forward to Persona 5 Royale this week. Okay, my shit hits the mail Tuesday. So yeah, looking forward to that one. And I'll keep you guys posted. But the other game is another fucking Atlas game. Atlas has just been hitting, man. They've been doing their fucking thing. But this one here, man, I don't know what it is. Every time I watch the fucking trailer again, I've seen the trailer probably like a dozen times now. And each time I watch the trailer, I am hypnotized and I fall a little bit deeper into the dream of, I have to have this in my life. And I'm telling you, Metaphor, okay? Refantasio. I think that's how you pronounce it. All right. I know you pronounce Metaphor. So this is an Atlas game, but this is a completely new IP, okay, from them. This is more fantasy based. And this is why I'm so intrigued by this, okay? Because I kind of like the fantasy backdrops. You know, that's why Final Fantasy 16, I loved it, because it wasn't like 15, which is more, it was different. It was more, it felt like it was more kind of teenage, high schooly kind of feel to it. It just was different. It wasn't your typical Final Fantasy backdrop, right? And this here is something of the same, all right? It's I can't wait. And the combat style on this is definitely awesome as well. So you have the best of both worlds, all right? You have turn-based and you have real time. So it's like, I don't know. I'm very intrigued by the story and where this is going. Even the animations and stuff like that from the characters, it just seems very awesome. And you can tell that love definitely got poured into this fucking game. And I have only one other question. Is it coming out for the Switch? I don't know. I highly doubt it. And maybe they haven't, it may be saved for the Switch 2 or something. Who knows? I don't know. I think we're going to get the Switch 2 announcement this year, and we may get the release this year as well. But we shall see. Whatever system this game comes out, I'm going to get one for some system. I don't know if it's going to be PlayStation or what, but if it's not the Switch, it'll be PlayStation, and it's definitely going to be a day one. I am waiting for this game. To be honest with you, now that I think of all the other games that are coming out and that I'm really highly anticipating, this is probably my most anticipated game now. I have to put it up there with Dragon's Dogma and Grand Blue Fantasy. Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely on that same level. Okay, I'll say that. And this, I think, is coming out in the fall. So towards the fourth quarter of 2024. So they still got some stuff to work out, but it's definitely coming, and I'm going to be here for it, for damn sure. There's your list right there, guys. That's the games from 2024, and that's where I'm at. You know, I've been talking for over an hour now, and I didn't know it was going to go this far. I didn't think it was going to go this far, but it has, and it's all good. I enjoyed my time here talking to you guys about these games, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening. This is the first podcast of 2024. Can you believe it? So we're going into the new year. I told you guys I have a lot of things I want to accomplish this year. I try to add something to the plate every year, and this year it's going to be the Discord. So I'm going to be working on a Discord server this year so that all the people who really enjoy this content here want to actually get a little bit more personal and go a little deeper. I'm going to try to make that a reality for you guys and set something up to where, you know, that Discord server, man, and we link up over there and, you know, certain times and certain hours of the day or night, and we nerd out and we talk about video games and anime or whatever else, you know, in between. So I'm looking forward to that because I definitely want to get on a more personal level with some of you guys as well. You know, I know a lot of you guys listen every week like clockwork, and that's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, just to have something that you know you're putting out and somebody is waiting. They're rubbing your hands together like Birdman, and they're waiting on the next episode. That's beautiful, in my opinion. And I'm so thankful that I have people who actually think of me in the way that, hey, they really enjoy the show like that. And that's words can't even describe how that makes me feel. So that is one of the things I'm going to be doing with you guys moving forward in 2024, guys. Okay. And then I also said I was going to do a butter song. Okay. I was going to put together some sort of stupid ass song based on this butter analogy that I always use in my podcast. And a lot of people love that analogy. And I have people who who come in and they fucking leave messages and everything. It's crazy, but it's funny, but it's cool because I never thought it would kind of metamorphose. I never thought it would transform into something like that, and it's turned into its own thing, right? So kudos to all the fans out there who love the butter analogies. Okay, I'm going to keep it going. At least one butter analogy per episode, all right? If not more. So definitely be looking out for that in 2024 as well. I just want to let you guys know, man, I love you. I want to thank everybody for being down with me in the show and all the OG listeners, man. Hey, I love you guys, man. Straight up. I love you guys dearly. All the newcomers, hey, welcome to the family. I hope to see you guys again. We do this every Monday, same bat time, same bat channel. Don't forget, check out my other handles. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Random Gameplay Pimpin. Subscribe to the TikTok channel, Random Gameplay Pimpin. And I will see you guys next week. I love you dearly. This is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin. See you next time.